If the problem to be factored is a binomial, see if it fits one of the following situations. A. Difference of two squares. B. Sum of two squares. C. Sum of two cubes. D. Difference of two cubes. Then, lastly, if none of this occurred, the binomial does not factor. Now, let's have an example for difference of two square. So, let's say we have the polynomial a squared minus b squared, wherein a squared is our first term and b squared is our second term. Now, let's go to the steps in factoring. So, first step is to get the square roots of the terms. And second step, we will write it as factors of the sum and difference of the factors of the terms. Okay, so ngayon, sa unang example natin, we will factor a squared minus b squared. So, step 1 natin, kunin natin ang roots nila. Square root of a squared is a, while square root of b squared is b. Then, punta tayo sa second step, isusulat natin siya as factor of sum and difference. Okay, so para magawa natin yung step 2, kailangan natin dito is yung square root ng first term which is a and square root of second term which is b. So, magiging sagot natin dito is a plus b which is the sum multiplied to the difference which is a minus b. Sum of two squares. A squared plus b squared has no other factors except 1 in itself. And we call this a prime number. Kapag sinabi natin na prime, wala na siyang ibang factor. Just like 2. Diba ang 2 ay 2 and 1 lang. Wala na siyang ibang factor. Okay, next is for the sum of two cubes. Here are the steps. First step, get the cube root of the terms. Next is, second step, first term will be the sum of the cube roots. Next is for the third step. For the second factor, get the trinomial by A. Square the cube root of the first term. B. Subtracting the product of the cube roots of the first and the second term. C. Square the cube root of the second term. Then, for the fourth step, we will write the product of the first and second factors. Note that the resulting trinomial is no longer factorable. So now, let's have the first example. Let's factor a cube plus b cube. So, susundin natin yung step kanina. So, dito sa example na to, we have a cube. It is the first term. Then, we have b cube and it is the second term. Following the steps, so we will get their cube roots. So, cube root ng a cube is a. Then, sa second term naman, ang cube root ng b cube is b. Then, after nun, proceed na tayo sa second step. So, second step natin is, we will get their sum of the cube roots. So, to get the sum of the cube root, so we have here a plus b. So, dahil sa step 2, sabi niya is sum, so we use plus. So, third step, for the second factor, we will get the trinomial. So, ang sunod naman natin dito, to get the trinomial, we need to square the cube root of the first term. So, yung a natin, in-square, so a squared. Then, for letter b natin, we will subtract the product of cube roots ng first and second term. So, to get their product, we will multiply. So, a times b, we have ab. So, ito yung second term dun sa trinomial natin. So, next natin, letter C, we will square the cube roots of the second term. So, b in-square natin. So, we have here b squared. So, ngayon sunod natin, pagsasama-samahin natin siya sa fourth step. Kukombine natin yung first at saka second factor. So, yung first factor natin, kinuha natin siya sa step 2. Yung kanina, we have a plus b. And then, yung second factor naman natin na trinomial, kinuha natin sa step 3. So, pinagsama-sama natin. A squared minus ab plus b squared. Okay, next naman tayo for the second example. We will factor 8x cubed plus 27y cubed. So, 8x cubed, ito yung ating magiging first term. And then, 27y cubed, ito naman ang magiging second term. So, dun ulit tayo sa steps. We will get the cube roots of the term. So, we have 8x cube. Kukuhanin natin ang kanyang cube root. So, we have 2x. Then, for our second term, 27y cube, kinuha na ng cube root. So, ang magiging sagot ay 3y. Next, doon naman tayo sa second step. So, kukuhanin natin ang sum of their cube roots. So, we have here 2x plus 3y. Then, third step, for the second factor natin na trinomial, so follow ulit tayo ng step. So, letter A natin is, we will get the cube root of the first term. So, we have 2x squared. Pagka square natin siya, we have 4x squared. Then, for our letter B, we will subtract the product of the cube roots of the first and second term. So, 2x times 3y is equal to 6xy. So, i-multiply lang natin siya. 2 times 3 is 6, then x times y is xy. Okay, next natin naman ay C, we will square the cube root of the second term. So, 3y squared is 9y squared. So, yung 3 natin, naging 3 times 3 kaya 9. Then, yung last step natin, we will combine. So, we have 2x plus 3y, galing yan sa second step. Then, yung trinomial natin for x squared minus 6y plus 9y squared, galing yan sa third step. Difference of two cubes. First step is get the cube root of the first term. Second step, first term will be the difference of the cube roots na kinuha natin sa first step. Third step, for the second factor, get the trinomial by. So, A, we have square the cube root of first term, adding the product of the cube roots of the first and the second term. Then C, we have square the cube root of the second term. Then lastly, yung fourth step natin is we will write the product of the first and second factors. At kagaya ng sum of two cubes, we take note that the resulting trinomial is no longer factorable. For our example, let's say we will factor a cube minus b cube. So we have a cube being the first term and b cube being the second term. First step natin is get the cube root of the terms. Okay, so a cube natin, pag cube root is a, then b cube, pag cube root is b. Then for our second step, first term will be the difference of the cube roots. So we have here a minus b being the first factor. And then for our third step, for the second factor, we will get the trinomial by getting the square of the cube root of the first term. So we have a, square natin, so we have a squared. And next natin, for letter B, we will be adding the product of the cube roots of the first and the second term. So, pag product, we will multiply. Multiply natin yung a times b. So, dito magkakaroon tayo ng ab. So, adding, ibig sabihin, we will use addition. Then, square the cube root of the second term. So, b squared is equal to b squared. Then, last step natin, we will write the first and second factors. So, sa step 2, kinuha natin yung a minus b. And then, step 3, we have a squared plus ab plus b squared. Next example, x cubed minus 64. So, we have here x cubed being the first term. And then, we have 64 being the second term. So, first step natin, get the cube roots of the terms. So, cube root na x cube is x. Cube root of 64 is 4. Then, going to the second step, first term will be the sum of the cube roots. So, we have here x minus 4. Third step, for the second factor, get the trinomial factor by square the cube roots of the first term. So, yung x natin is square natin. So, we have x squared. Then, b, adding the product of the cube roots of the first and second term. So, we have here x times 4, we have 4x. Next is C, square the cube roots of the second term. Second term is 4, in-square natin, so we have 16. Then last step, we will combine step 2 and step 3. So x minus 4 kinuha sa step 2, and then yung trinomial natin, kinuha natin sa third step. So if none of these occur, then the binomial does not factor.